So here's to the city, the grit and the gold, every story told in the brave and the bold. Let's carry this anthem across every zone. One love, New York, forever our own. Na, 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 na. Na, 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 na. Na, 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 na. To the city lights, subway rumble, hustle in the air. Every corner tell a story if you dare. From Wall Street suits to the art in Soho, dancing in Harlem, hear the jazz flow. Central Park vibes, escape from the grind. One love
every Friday, 12 p.m. Eastern Time on New York Parrot TV. The voice for humanity.
The city we thrive, we rise. One love, New York, under endless skies. From the skyline to streets, we're never alone. One love, New York, this place we call home. Statue of Liberty, standing so tall. Echoes of legends, yeah, we've seen it all. Street art speaking stories in spray. Culture colliding in a glorious display. Food trucks rolling, flavors worldwide. Taste the diversity, let it be your guide. From the nightlife to sunshine, we celebrate. In this melting pot, there's no fear of fate. One love, New York, where the dreams ignite. From the Bronx to Queens, we shine so bright. In the heart of the city we thrive, we rise. One love, New York, under endless skies. From the skyline to streets, we're never alone. One love, New York, this place we call home. So many voices, but we stand as one. United in rhythm, the battle's just begun. From the highs to the lows, together we'll grow. One heart, one soul, let the whole world know. New York is proud, give respect where it's due. When the beat drops, it's just me and you. Together we shine, let the love overflow. One love, New York, let the whole world know. One love, New York, where the dreams ignite. From the Bronx to Queens, we shine so bright. In the heart of the city we thrive, we rise. One love, New York, under endless skies. From the skyline to streets, we're never alone. One love, New York, this place we call home.
Okay, it looks like I'm here live. Can we get the music down? Can we kill the music, please, Mr. Producer? Okay, now that we killed the music. Nope. Can we get rid of the Adams music?
Jungle, dreams so bright. From Brooklyn Bridge to the city lights. Subway rumble, hustle in the air. Every corner tell a story if you dare. From Wall Street to the art in Soho, dancing in Harlem, hear the jazz flow. Central Park vibes, escape from the grind. One love, New York, the city that mine. One love, New York, where the dreams ignite. From the Bronx to Queens, we shine so bright. In the heart of the city we thrive, we rise. One love, New York, under endless skies. From the skyline to streets, we're never alone. One love, New York, this place we call home.
Okay, hopefully the music is stopped. Let me introduce myself. I am Robert Press, a political reporter for the Bronx Post. I also write for the Parkchester Times, who like this show, are part of Parrot Media Corporation. I have a blog at www.100%.blogspot.com, Facebook pages 100%, and what is going on in your neighborhood. The views that you hear on the show are that of the announcer, any guest or anyone writing a comment at the bottom of the screen. Let's go to the weather right now before I bring on my guest. Today it'll get up to about 72. Then the 80s come back tomorrow and Sunday, 80 on Saturday, 81 on Sunday, 82 on Monday, and look out for the rain coming on Wednesday. Now, do we have my guest, Mr. Producer, Mr. Anthony Ravecchio, wrestling guru, who used to write for wrestling magazines? Are you here, Anthony? I still hear that music in the background. All right, if not, I'll go into the news then. We are avoiding a government shutdown, hopefully today, as the Senate and Congress go back and possibly vote on what the federal government shuttered at midnight a couple of days ago amid a standoff over health care funding. A fight Democrats are trying to claw their way back to power and popularity. They believe they can win. Our focus is really about the health care cuts and the continued obsession that the National Republican Party has with eliminating health care for millions of Americans, Democratic Congressman Joe Morrell told Playbook. It's unprecedented. Now I got 4 people in the studio. A prolonged closure will have a deep impact on New York. The political bellwether of Long Island is home to some 31,000 federal workers who will be furloughed. Nope, I got a message coming in. Let's see. Okay, he's in the room. Can we bring in Mr. Ravecchio? Can we bring in my wrestling guru? All right, let me continue with this. The 2 Brooklyn Democrats must hold their factious conferences together and keep a rest of base peace. Schumer's early decision not to fight President Trump and Republicans over funding resulted. Oh, wait a minute. Here's my guest. There's my guest. Let me go into the wrestling side of the show. Are you there, Anthony?
Yeah, but I'd rather be dancing instead.
Well, that's the old Eric Adams music that we had a couple of ads for Eric Adams on here showing how great he is in the city. And apparently he pulled out a race, which we'll get into a little bit later. Right now, I want to talk
but I guess he's still paying for promotional music fees.
Right now, I want to get into wrestling. Before we had wrestling, when you and I were kids, we used to watch it in black and white. It was on one channel once a week. Then we got a couple of more channels in. Right now, the WWE they have their NXT on Pix 11, their SmackDowns on USA, their Raw is on Netflix. ESPN has now picked up their pay-per-views, with the exception of the Saturday Night Main Event, which you have to have Peacock for. Now, with all of this, how much is it costing a person to see wrestling nowadays?
Well, Bob, I think you got to take it a little bit further back than that. Vince McMahon, and I don't think he realized it at the time that he did it, he decided when he wanted to show more cable programming that he took a product called the WWE and basically chopped it up. He created Monday Night Raw, and then he created SmackDown. Monday Night Raw, up until 6 months ago, was on a cable channel. Then he created, of course, NXT, which is 6 months ago, was also on another cable channel. And then SmackDown, which is also 6 months ago on another cable channel. And then something called pay-per-view, which, of course, you had to just pay separately for. This was all 6 months ago. And if you ask me what was the cost to the consumer at that time, well, it came out to about an average of $3 to $4 a month, because based on your average cable channel, and then you take the amount you would pay and divide it by the cable channel, it would basically come out to about 50 cents a week. So, of course,
less the pay-per-views.
Correct. So putting that now into a monthly basis as opposed to a weekly basis, it comes out to about $1.50 a month per channel. So not including the pay-per-views, not including that, it came out to about $1.50 a month. Again, 50 cents to $1 on each cable channel. Now, the pay-per-views, of course, a separate entity, They started at $25. They eventually went to $50. This was up until about 6 months ago. All of a sudden, our TV world went crazy, right?
Well, wait a minute. Let's explain that Vince McMahon sold the business.
About 2 years ago, Vince McMahon got into a conversation with Dana White and many other entrepreneurs and created a company called TKO. Prior to TKO, believe it or not, it was a sports consulting company full of different executives. When Vince McMahon and Dana White got involved, they recreated the company and called it TKO. And TKO now owns 2 major properties. One is, of course, WWE. The other one, Dana White, is from UFC. They also own other properties. So TKO, and thank you for slightly correcting me, Bob. So TKO decided, well, we'll take these properties and first of all expand them because, as you said a moment ago, now you got Saturday Night's Main Event, right? So that's another property. And they decided, well, we'll keep some on cable television, but now we'll move some of the programming to another platform called streaming. So to go over those properties that I mentioned a minute ago, well, today, Monday Night Raw is on Netflix. That's not cable. That's streaming. Monthly, that's $15. NXT is now on, as I know it, what is it called? CW11?
11.
And that is on cable, and that still streams to about $1.50 a month. So the amount of that hasn't changed. You pay that $1.50 in your cable bill. Then you go into now Thursday, Friday.
SmackDown.
So now you go into Thursday, Friday, which would be SmackDown. SmackDown is still currently on cable. Notice I say still. And that is, again, $1.50 a month. Then you go into what, let's call it Saturday Night's Main Event. Saturday Night's Main Event starting next month, which is on a quarterly basis, is now the exclusive access of Peacock. Let me emphasize that again. Peacock, not NBC. NBC is cable. Peacock is streaming. And that streaming cost to the consumer via the cable bill will be an extra $5 when it's paid per quarter. And then, of course, you have pay-per-view, which is no longer a pay-per-view.
Right. It's no longer available on cable systems. I can't get a pay-per-view. I can't get it anymore on the cable systems.
Well, you'll be able to get it. Right. But you'll be able to get it pretty soon through different mechanisms, different platforms. They're not called pay-per-views anymore. They're now called what PLEs, Premium Live Entertainment, I believe the official name of it is. And that is only exclusively on ESPN. And I emphasize, I believe the actual app is called ESPN Unlimited. Because if you know ESPN, you know it's got 99 different channels. This is a specific streaming channel directly to the app at $30 a month. So a year ago at this time, you had all wrestling on cable. You were paying it through your cable bill. It was very accessible to you. You knew what channels you wanted to watch. And on average, it came out to about $1.50. Let me go a little bit higher, but now I'd be lying a little bit.
Well, no, Tony, didn't Vince McMahon at one time have the WWE channel where you got everything for $9.95 a month or $9.99 a month?
10 years ago, Vince McMahon decided to put his assets on streaming as streaming was being born and developed. And he created an outlet called the WWE Network. And I use the frame outlet because you did not need an app to access it. All you needed was a website, and you would sign in directly on the WWE site. That was $9.99 a month, not only did it include all the what in those days was called pay-per-views, but it also had a wonderful item called the Vault, where
Mhm.
it had prior WWE programming. And if my memory recollects, I think it went as far back as the 1960s, and they were still putting on programming when
Mhm.
they decided to now sell the property to TKO, and TKO abandoned the 9.99 model. Although there are some wrestling companies now that have variations of that model.
Okay, so I'm going to break here. We're at a point for a commercial, even though we had the misinterruption in the beginning. When we come back, we'll talk politics, Anthony and I, about the mayor's race, the casinos. So let's go to a commercial now. And once we come back, we'll talk politics. How's that?
That sounds good.
Imagine a media platform that reshapes the conversation, empowers your voice, and redefines the Bronx community. Bronx Post, changing the reality, changing the narrative. For businesses, politicians, and government agencies, we offer targeted advertising solutions that drive results. Amplify your message. Reach the heart of the Bronx and beyond. Our platform connects you to the community. Learn more. Email info@bronxpost.com or call 718-892-5555. Visit www.bronxpost.com for breaking news and updates. Bronx Post, changing the reality, changing the narrative.
Okay, welcome back. Mr. Producer, you could take yourself off. Now, before we go really into the mayor's race, let's get into something even more interesting, the casino race. It appears that a new report by Political details how the major players behind the scuttle deal to offer Mayor Adams an ambassadorship to Saudi Arabia have ties to Bally's Corporation, which is trying to win a bid for a Bronx casino. It appears also that there is a new member of the State Gaming Commission who is Cindy Ruby Estrada. She currently is the executive director of the New York Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, but she has ties to the Bronx Democratic Party, I believe. And in Sullivan County, we have, they're asking investors to lend more money, $500 million, to rescue the struggling Resorts World Catskills, which is really going bankrupt now, they say. They want to buy up to $585 million in bonds to buy the hotel and other stuff to leave just the casino for Empire Resorts. Now, this is the same resorts that is at Aqueduct, and there's predictions that when the New York City casinos, if they do, open up, will take away more business from the Catskills. So let's talk about the four casino bidders that are left. You have Resorts at Aqueduct. You have Empire City at Yonkers Raceway. You have the Metropolitan Park at Citi Field, and you have Bally's. Now, only 3 are supposed to get licenses. What do you think is going to happen, Anthony?
Well, right now there are 4 contenders for 3 licenses, and the Gaming Commission's already announced that there'll be choosings for next year. So the one proposal that will not get voted on this year, I would say, would be the inside favorite for next year. To answer your question, I really think this is a political jigsaw puzzle. If you did it just based on merit and money, I would say it would be the Racinos first and second, no particular order. And the third one being the casino in Queens, only because I don't know how anybody can deny someone that has both an open checkbook and two, unanimous consent from their own community.
Now,
So
let's look, though, at the Bronx Democratic Party influence in this casino bidding. You have Patrick Jenkins, who went to college with Carl Hastie, who is the Assembly Speaker. He is with Genting, which is Resorts World at Aqueduct. You have former Bronx Borough President Ruben Diaz Jr. and former Bronx County leader, Bronx Democratic County leader, Marcos Crespo, working for Metropolitan Park. And then you have Jeff Klein and Stanley Schlein, probably, and the rest of the Democratic Party in the Bronx, working for Bally's. Could it be that those three get the licenses, since a good friend of the Bronx Democratic Party was put onto this gaming commission, and that the speaker holds a lot of power, and maybe that Yonkers will be the one left out?
well, it sounds like you're suggesting that one of the racinos will not be in, and the substitute will be Bali. And I would say, under normal situations, that probably would not be the case. Only because with both racinos, they're ready to go. They're basically just waiting for the approval. However, you do bring up one good point, and I'll bring up the other. The one good point you bring up is Assemblyman and now Speaker Carl Hastie. The point I'll bring up is that, as I'm sure you know, the Bronx has been through this before. On the west side of the Bronx, when we had the water filtration plant, it just wasn't approved, by a stroke of a pen or some, normal course of action. Everybody knows that this deal took place in a hotel room after midnight, with many envelopes being drawn out. Carl Hastie at that time was not the chair of the party. The Bronx Democratic Party had another chair at that time. But Carl Hastie was in the room, and he, of course, saw how it worked. So now, with Carl being the chair, as the Assembly Speaker, forgive me, I would say he has a great deal of weight, a great deal of momentum. And the lady you bring up, Cindy Estrada, based on her prior resume, her resume shows that she's no stranger to the Bronx Democratic Party. So I would basically say, yes, it's very plausible that if Carl or the powers that be wanted to put in Bally's this year as opposed to next year, eliminate one of the racinos, and you can slip it right in. If they did it that way, I would guess the odd man out would be Yonkers Raceway.
Right, and let's not forget
in the Bronx.
Let's not forget the current Bronx Democratic Party leader is State Senator Jamal Bailey, who is an important player in there. But as what you said, though, is the Senate Majority Leader, though, is Andrea Stewart Cousins, whose district that Yonkers Raceway is in. So it's basically, could we see 4 casinos approved this year?
We could. They were the ones that came up with the magic number of 3. They can come up with, the number 2 or 22.
Right, because I say you never know what can happen in politics. And what's your favorite slogan about New York?
I got a few. Which one are you referring to?
Anything can happen in New York when it comes to politics?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, let's move on from the casino, racinos, or whatever.
Why I think you actually bring up another good point. Because let's say they stick with the magic number of 3, right? So one gets left out. Well, there's no obligation that proposal has to stay there.
Mm-hmm. And from what I'm hearing,
they can withdraw it.
From what I'm hearing, Bally's is pulling back a little on what it's promised. All right, that's coming from the residents in the area. Bally said they were going to do this, and they're not doing it now. Or and then Jeff Klein had to secure $100 million from the state to fix the road to Bally's. So we don't know what's going to happen, because now that the government is shut down and the president is cutting back on Medicaid funds and other things, that $100 million may have to go elsewhere in the state budget. Okay, let's get to the mayor's race. As we know, Mayor Adams pulled out last Sunday, leaving 3 top contenders in Zohan Madani, the Democratic choice, Andrew Cuomo, who lost to Madani in the Democratic primary, but is running as an independent, Republican Curtis Sliwa. Then there are some other minor candidates, like Irene Estrada, who is on the conservative line, which she'll be ahead of Governor Cuomo, former Governor Cuomo. So who do you see winning this race?
Oh, God.
Does Irene Estrada get 1%?
I love Irene, and the fact that she's over Cuomo on the ballot is actually pretty shocking. But to answer your question, I hope she gets more than 2 to 3% because she deserves it.
Now, billionaire Republican mega donor John Catsimatidis has been hinting to Curtis Sliwa, I'm giving you about 2 weeks, and then we're going to have to make a decision if you don't move up in the polls as to back Cuomo. What would happen with a one-on-one Cuomo-Mandami or Sliwa-Mandami race?
I think the next 2 weeks are very critical for Curtis Sliwa. There seems to be a big move, not just with the Democrats, but also with the Republicans, that they want Andrew Cuomo as opposed to Curtis Sliwa. Now, these conversations are coming from the federal government, from Donald Trump. Why Trump doesn't like Curtis is a whole other conversation. But if that momentum keeps going, and if Curtis's numbers don't get any better, he's got a tough decision to make in 2 weeks.
Well, because he figured with such a big field, he got 30% against Adams last time. All he needs is 35%, and he could take it. Because what's being predicted, that Mandami, if he continues as he is, will not have 50%. He'll wind up with 40% or so. So, I mean, if Sliwa can move up a little, and the only problem is that the media is pointed towards the Democrats. We really hear nothing about Sliwa. We always hear Mandami and we hear Cuomo, but we really don't hear that much about Sliwa. So that's the problem that he has. He has to overcome the media. He's got some ads out, some nice ads that are out there. Let's see if he can move up. But again, also, when I look at the back of these polls that are done, we've asked 600 people, 550 Democrats, 25 Republicans, and 25 independents. So naturally, 550 Democrats are going to say, I'm going to vote for a Democrat. They're not going to say, I'm going to vote for a Republican. It's some of these polls are crazy. And we saw that when Cuomo was way in the lead, and then Mandami all of a sudden pulled up and passed him. I got to tell you, I think Curtis Sliwa is probably the best for the job. Are you still with me, Anthony? There you go. But let's move on to another subject. Jessica Ramos.
Let me touch on that for just 1 second.
Okay.
Let me touch on that for just 1 second, if you don't mind. I hear you when you say Curtis doesn't get equal media attention, but you actually just said what the problem was. You know, we live in a super democratic city, so of course that's Curtis's, first and major problem. And the core support of 30-35% that you mentioned earlier, I'll be honest with you, I haven't seen it yet. I'm not saying it can't happen, but I haven't seen it yet. But I could be wrong.
I've seen a poll where he was at 22%, and that was an early poll. Again, it depends on who you're going to call and who you're going to, ask.
Sure. Sure.
Jessica Ramos is a state senator from Queens. She worked for Mayor Bill de Blasio. As a matter of fact, when I used to go to the press conference with de Blasio, she was the one who would pick on the people who asked questions. She always used to pick on me. Now she's out of the race. She's got a challenger next year already that it looks like the Queens County organization is going to back. She's got $125,000 in debt now as of the latest filing, and no union seems to be with her anymore. Any comments about Jessica Ramos?
Jessica Ramos has a challenger. She has a challenger who's fully funded according to the Campaign Finance Board. Her challenger should be maxing out. She, of course, has shown she does not represent her district in Queens any longer. It looks like both John Liu and Steve Cohen have more power in that district than she does. So she's got some major issues.
Okay, moving on to the speaker's race. And we got to have one or two more items after this. It seems that there are three candidates for speaker: Julie Menin, Amanda Farias, and Crystal Hudson. Now, Julie Menin seems to be the favorite. And as we've seen in past speakers' races where there was a Bronx candidate, they've always dropped out to get favorable positions for Bronx city council members. Do you think that Farias is going to drop out again? And will Menin win it because she's right now in the lead?
I think Julie has a very, very good shot of winning. She has been involved in different capacities within city government. She's also been involved in the streets working through nonprofit organizations. All of that work, very, very recognizable within the members of the council. The other two people you mentioned are also qualified. But my own opinion is that I think Julie will probably win it.
Okay. There is one of the city council members, Frank Marino, is bringing out a bill in the city council and is getting unexpected bipartisan assortment of his colleagues who are backing the bill. He has Republicans, he has Democrats, and he has independents. It is a bill that would give the right for the city council members who currently don't appoint, but they suggest members to the borough president. Half of the members are supposedly from the city council members, and the other half from the borough president. What this Councilman Morano wants to do is have the city council members directly appoint half of the members to the community boards. Do you think it's right? Because I know I was told by Borough President Gibson when I first applied the first year, when she first came in 4 years ago. I asked her, why did you not appoint me with all my experience from Community Board 8 to Community Board 11 where I lived? And her answer was, well, I want the community board to be more reflective of the community. What do you say on this?
What I say on it when I first heard about it was I smiled, and the first thing that came to mind was 2005. The reason why I say 2005 is because that's when, at the time, Councilman Oliver Coppell appointed me. And I would say that was the time that was a normal process, of the process. So when I read it, I was very happy that it's getting bipartisan support. But the other side of me said, how did it change in the first place?
Well, Coppell didn't appoint you, he suggested, and the borough president at that time put you on. All right. Back in 2005, the borough presidents listened to the council members because
I would say based on mutual respect. I mean, you're right in your description. So I apologize for misstating. But at the same token, I would say there was mutual respect between council people and the borough president's office at that time. That unless you had a criminal record, you were probably 99% assured once you got the council members' support.
The subway fare is going up to $3. In case you didn't know, that's going to happen the first of the year.
Good luck, everybody.
Yeah, and it includes all other MTA, which is the Metro North and Long Island Railroad. Those fares are going to be going up. But the last item before we go off, it appears that New York issues a driver's license to migrants, but doesn't require a first name. And this came out in Oklahoma, where Governor Kevin Stitt said a man caught up in a raid that took in 125 illegal immigrants in his state had a New York commercial driver's license with no name given in place of first and middle monikers. If New York wants to hand out the licenses to illegal immigrants with no name given, that's on them. But he said, the governor said, once they cross into Oklahoma, they answer to our laws. Now, what do you make of this no first, what is it? No name given license. I mean, this is going to be, because we know that immigrants come in with just one name. But
I only got one question for that. Where did he go? Where did he go to get the license? Because I'll be there in a half hour.
It was issued in accordance with all proper procedures, including verification of the individual's identity through federally issued documents.
So I'll be there in a half hour. What office he went to?
Any motor vehicle office, basically, is probably doing that.
Nah, you can go to any motor vehicle law. He must have went to one particular branch.
Well, I can't really answer that. And okay. I want to thank you for coming on the show, Anthony. I had a couple more items, but we're out of time. We're out of time. So, like I said, I want to thank Anthony for coming on the show. And I hope you will watch next week. We hopefully will start on time next week. And I want to thank you for watching, and thank you. And once again, and goodbye. Bring on Eric, Mr. Producer.
In a world where the quality of information available to poorer communities is doctored, tainted, and sometimes regressive, where the words fake news have come to mean other people's opinions, it is vital to rely on news platforms with journalists who have feet on the ground and can report the truth. New York Parrot, a New York-based national and global news outlet, is changing the narratives of media operations. We focus on the news that matters, like self-empowerment, entrepreneurship, finances, health, security, politics, and more. We strive to curb violence, racial and economic discrimination, and to promote peace and socio-economic development of multiculturally diverse world. As we give voice to the people, we also give your business a voice and make it heard. Get your products and services off the ground by advertising on our fast-growing platform. With so much of daily visits to New York Parrot, you can't afford to be invisible to prospective clients on the website they trust the most. Our posts reach millions of people across the New York State and around the world. Advertising on our new site will unlock an audience of thousands of potential customers on your doorstep. New York Parrot is born to prosperously speak tomorrow for the voiceless.
Imagine a media platform that reshapes the conversation, empowers your voice, and redefines the Bronx community. Bronx Post, changing the reality, changing the narrative. For businesses, politicians, and government agencies, we offer targeted advertising solutions that drive results. Amplify your message. Reach the heart of the Bronx and beyond. Our platform connects you to the community. Learn more. Email info@bronxpost.com or call 718-892-5555. Visit www.bronxpost.com for breaking news and updates. Bronx Post, Changing the reality, changing the narrative.
Watching The Politics every Friday, 12 p.m. Eastern Time on New York Parrot TV, the voice for humanity.